So you thought Arizona might be the perfect place? There are some cons to living in this state, and I'm going to give you a top 10 list, and we're starting right now. Welcome back. I am Michelle Miller with Michelle Miller Realty and Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Arizona Properties, and we are talking about all things good and bad about the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. And today we are talking about some of the cons. There's no perfect place to live. If it was perfect, everybody would live there. It'd be super expensive. I guess San Diego is probably the closest thing to perfect, but look how expensive it is to live there. Anyway, all right, let's start with our list here. So we are also becoming a very popular destination for a lot of people from California and the Midwest, like people where it's cold, they start to migrate here. And now people that want to get out of Florida because of some hurricanes, they're starting to migrate over. So what's happening now is it's getting more expensive, unfortunately. Our taxes are still really low, which is good, but the housing prices have gone up quite a bit in the last few years. And like everything else, when it's popular, it's expensive. So that is one of the downsides, but it is a great place to live, which is why so many people are coming here. All right, number 2, lack of seasons. Some people I know move out of here because they are used to and really having 4 seasons. I have to admit, every time fall rolls around, I'm really bummed that I don't get to see the changing of the leaves, the smell of that fall air. Oh God, that's so good. Even if you go up north into Flagstaff and Prescott and stuff like that, we don't have the trees, the oak trees that smell so good and are so pretty. We have pine trees, which are nice, but you don't get the full gamut of what fall looks like if you grew up in those climates where you did get the 4 seasons. So that is one of the downsides. We pretty much have 2 seasons. It's like spring, fallish, and then hot. And the nice part is it doesn't get really cold. It does get cool. You'll be surprised here how cool the desert can get at night in the winter months. But again, we don't have the full gamut of the 4 seasons. All right, lack of color. That kind of plays into the 4 seasons, but when I first moved here, I was like, everything is brown, and it was really hard to get used to. And then cactus start blooming. You can't believe the flowers that come out of a cactus. I blew my mind. And they are really pretty. The lantana in the summer starts blooming, our bougainvillea. I think I just moved here in December and a lot of stuff was dormant. So when it starts blooming, it does get actually really pretty. I think it has more color than Las Vegas, and it's greener, and you acclimate. All you can see is the brownness when you first get here, and then you get here and you realize the beauty of the desert, and your mindset changes. It actually is a very beautiful. Number 4, our car license renewal cost is pricey. It is a lot more expensive than what I was paying living in Illinois. However, our property taxes are lower. These states get money from somewhere, and that is one of the places that you get dinged pretty hard on here in Arizona. Number 5, sharp plants. Oh my gosh. Everything is sharp here. So if you try and like venture into cutting and maintaining your yard, you better get the thickest gloves you ever did find, because I'm not kidding you. It's just like put Christmas lights on your cactus and you're like, so yeah, I finally just would pay someone to come and trim my bushes like a couple times a year because I didn't know what I was doing. And secondly, it's horrible. And there's poisonous plants too. The other thing, we have these types of cactus. There's these lady slippers, and then there's these stick cactus, and if you open them, there's a milky substance inside, and if you get that in your eye, it's horribly painful, and you can lose your eyesight for days at a time. So you gotta be really careful. So anyway, number 6, we are very spread out. Phoenix and Scottsdale run parallel from like the airport all the way up into Cave Creek Carefree, and it's really long. I think it's 35 miles top to bottom. So you just can't run out and grab something in 2 minutes time. Most of the time it's going to take you, depending on where you are. But if you're in the north part of like the northeast part of Scottsdale where I live, it can take 15-20 minutes to go most anywhere, except for maybe hiking. That's right in your backyard. But so just something to keep in mind. And I guess at the filming of this, our gas prices are pretty high, so it can cost you a few more dollars to get where you're going. Number 7, we don't really have any public transportation. I mean, we have buses, but we don't have big trains that go top to bottom, which would be nice. There is a little one that goes like around Old Town and for ASU students and stuff like that, but no major train system north and south. So you do have to have a car to get around this town, or a motorcycle or a bike or something like that. Or just choose to live where you can get where you need to go and walk there. Fortunately, a lot of people are working from home now, so maybe it's not as big of an issue anymore, but yeah, the no transportation is a bummer. Number 8, it gets really hot here, really hot. So I liken it to when I lived in the Midwest. It was like opening the dishwasher And that's what it felt like in the summer in the Midwest. Here, it's like opening your oven and having that hot air. And you'll think I'm crazy when I say this. It's okay, like 105 and under is not bad. The night times are still nice. You get to 110 day after day, that's hot. It's really hot. The ground, it never gets below 90, and you get outside and you're just sweating. It's a mind shift. You just have to, it's so funny when you grow up and you just look forward to summer your whole life, and now you don't really like summer because it's so hot. It's just weird. But that's our winter, how I compare it. We just go from air conditioning to air conditioning, where in wintertime and in the cold parts, you just go from heat to heat. So same thing, but it is hot. It's real hot. Number 9, we have tourists and snowbirds. So there are times when high season rolls in, starting like November, goes till about May, and our population gets a lot more crowded. It's harder to get right. You got to be way more planned about things as far as getting reservations. Traffic has gotten a lot worse in the last several years, because Maricopa County was like the fastest growing county 3 or 4 years running a few years ago, which also led to our housing shortage because so many people were moving here and then ate up all of our supply. That is one thing to contend. However, on the flip side, having all the tourists come for like the Phoenix Open, the Arabian Horse Show, the Barrett-Jackson, all those people come in and bring revenue, and that keeps our property tax down. So there's good and bad to it. So when you live here, you just know that you just got to be a little bit more patient. Not everybody's forte, but it's just a fact of life. All right, number 10, this is the worst. The bugs. Oh my gosh. I've never seen bugs so big in my life. Like, you'll have a beetle that is like massive, this long, this big black thing. I'm like, what is that? Because we don't freeze. And so these things just keep growing and growing. We get scorpions. I was stung by a scorpion. That is not fun. My finger was numb for 2 months. Yeah, it's crazy. It's the weirdest thing, and it hurts so bad when they sting you. And we have snakes. That's not great either. So the thing with some of that is you just have to do pest control. Snakes everything follows the food chain, right? So you keep piles of stuff and debris away from your house so you don't get mice, because the snakes follow the mice, and then scorpions follow crickets. So if you can keep crickets away from your house, generally you're gonna keep the scorpions away. So you just have to take precaution. So yes, there are some downsides to living in this fabulous state. I don't know if any of them will deter you from moving here, but if you have questions, it's not an all-inclusive list. There are other things that people will probably find undesirable about this area. But if you have questions about living here, I've been here now 11 years. It was a great move, I feel, on my part, but just feel free to reach out. My contact information is below. My website is michellemillerrealty.com with my contact information as well. I have a blog on there with other information, with other points of interest and things about our housing market. I'd love to hear from you. If there's something you'd like me to do a video on, please let me know. I'm always looking for ideas. I just love to have you reach out and we can chat. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I will see you next time.